are literally shaping the planet.
Purpose is the only pathway to a regenerative future.
We have a choice to stay with the status quo or to change.
What is the point of trying to be just resilient when we can actually innovate?
My name is Gautam Khot. Thank you for the introduction, Anastasia. And I represent Brigade Real Estate Accelerator Program. We're based in Bangalore, India. And I must thank KP and the entire Shadow team for hosting us and our portfolio startups at the Shadow Summit. So the dire need for technology intervention in real estate has been really well established. And let me not spend too much time on the need for that adoption. However, it is the very reason for the genesis of Brigade REAP back in 2016. And we've had the privilege of witnessing the increasing adoption of PropTech in India from very close quarters. So we all know 80% of real estate projects are either over budget or delayed. And we're trying to figure out solutions to the many contributing factors to that overrun. So as a part of that discovery, we're also questioning established practices and the inefficiency that is just taken for granted. So today, let me focus on the problems in traditional approaches to design and advances in design technology and processes that address them. So let's break the monolithic design problem down into smaller chunks. There's been a major problem with the prevalent design software for a really long time, and that is begging to be addressed, which is one size does not fit everybody. There is no customer differentiation, whether you're a multifamily, multi-use operator or a commercial, retail, or residential developer. Your choices are very limited to a very few large and importantly, very closed software systems. Licensing is still living in the past. Multi-year entrenched licensing makes it extremely difficult to move away to leaner, more agile software. And these handcuffs are very real. It makes it really difficult for customers to move to more modern systems. For a medium or a small entity in a developing market such as where we operate from, this is a massive cost, $2,000 per user per year on average, and it just multiplies from that point on. It's just impossible for companies to aspire to that many times. And once they are in, it's very difficult for them to get out of it. The monolith is also windowless, right? I mean, interoperability is a massive challenge, and systems do not talk to each other, and which cascades into a lot of wastage and especially rework downstream. So rework alone contributes between 2 to 12% of the total project cost. Again, very well documented, but then we're trying to kind of figure out, what can fix it if we start early in the process. Now, we're witnessing a kind of a disservice to the large user base for keeping them logged into this closed environment. So technology has made superior options available, and the actors must break free. With a user base in millions, there is little incentive for the established players to be innovating, whether it is the feature set or friendlier licensing, or most importantly, making the process more collaborative. Almost half of architecture and design professionals globally are finding it more and more difficult to derive satisfaction from their work and its impact. And I don't think that's an accident. And it's a telling statistic. But because of the way the systems are set up, the construction and engineering, sales and marketing teams that are downstream from design have no visibility and stake into feeding back into design. It is either too late or futile by the time an insight is generated downstream. We all know this. A lot of the inefficiencies are created during design, and that is probably the right time for you to address them so that it really doesn't cascade into something much larger 2 months or 2 years later that is completely out of your control. Bills of quantity and bills of material estimates tend to be extremely manual. And by the time these are generated, a few weeks, if not months have passed. They're extremely error prone because of the manual nature. Perhaps an Excel engine drives it, if you can call it that. And the kicker is that rework accounts for 40% of the 3 billion tons of raw material that is misspent. I'm also going to move to sustainability. What is the role of sustainability in design? So sustainability has been treated more as a marketing tool, at least in India so far. Regulatory mandates are trickling in, but they're not sufficient to force a building to be designed with sustainability as a key pillar. The only way that sustainability can be a top-level consideration during design is for significant savings or revenue to be demonstrated because you made the choice. And we're uncovering interventions, which you will see shortly, that do precisely that. How do you choose material and processes that require lesser water, let's say, during construction? Or is there a way to ensure that once occupancy begins, systems are already in place, again by design, that monitor your footprint? You can always retrofit. There's a lot of play for technologies that are possible to retrofit into an existing environment, but that is expensive to do. We do have a luxury of considering them firsthand when we're building or when we're starting projects afresh. Now, standards and orgs like LEED and IGBC do set the tone for the industry, but their message needs to be conveyed and put to action by many of the medium and small entities in the ecosystem. We feel that there's a massive opportunity for technology to play a key role in this adoption. So at REIT, we've maintained a really steady and intense dialogue with the industry ecosystem to understand the biggest problems that this industry faces. And it is a vital exercise for us in our search for the top and appropriate startups that might be addressing some or all of these problems. Now, I would love to hear from you if you'd like to know more about the PropTech challenges, opportunities, and especially the ecosystem in India. And my coordinates are on your screen right now. And with that, I'm really excited to introduce two of our stellar portfolio companies that are addressing the inefficiencies in the design process by applying their first and best-in-class technology. And I'm going to start with Altaf Ganihar from Snaptrude. Altaf, it's all yours.
Thank you so much, Gautam. I'll just share the screen. Hello, everyone. So I'm the founder of Snaptrude, and today I'm going to be presenting how we are fixing the architectural design workflow, and it is high time that it has to be fixed right now. We all agree that entire real estate as an industry has lagged behind in adapting technology and innovation, and it's very well true with the architectural industry as well. For a long time, we can see that architectural designs were done using hand-drawn blueprints. CAD came in as a savior, and even though it took some time, architects did adapt to it, which made the process really efficient. And in the meantime, 3D modeling added a new layer of information or dimension to the kind of execution of design. But they never really talked to each other at the end of the day. 2D and 3D never went hand in hand, and BIM, which came in the early 2000s, was supposed to address this really important issue. But fast forward 2 decades from BIM, things have still been messier. There's still a huge lack of innovation that has happened in the industry. And coming to how BIM was theorized to be the poster child of solving all of these problems, and how it has turned out, I'll just reflect upon that very quickly into my presentation. Fundamentally, if you look at the design process, it's a very lengthy process and very much iterative if you look at it. Architects just don't do a design at one go. They go through multiple iterations, maybe a few hundreds, even a few thousands, over an elaborate period of weeks, months, to even years, depending on the scale of the project. And the impact of design is so important. Any error that happens over here, any inefficiency that creeps into the design gets reflected at a very later stage during construction. And as Gautam pointed out, and yesterday, Amir Paul also very detailedly explained how design leads to so many inefficiencies during operations as well as construction. And the impact of these errors is massive. And the reason why it happens is because the tools which are used in the industry were never actually meant for architects. They were adapted by architects because they had no choice. AutoCAD, for that matter, is being used to do the documentation and the drawing, and the 3D happens in a tool like SketchUp, which just is inaccurate and incomplete in nature because these tools do not talk to each other, and the data part still exists on Excel, which has to be manually extracted out of these drawings. And if you're looking at a flywheel, which is the iteration of an architectural design workflow, every time the flywheel spins, an inefficiency gets added, and the probability of an error creeping in is very high, since these tools do not talk to each other by themselves and manually data has to be transferred. And since the design process is a very elaborate process and involves multiple tools which do not talk to each other, the problem just amplifies. But I guess everybody here would be contemplating why we are not using BIM, because BIM was invented to solve this very problem. But coming towards BIM, I would say that BIM is a process, not a software, and that's how it was theorized. And it was supposed to solve all of these problems. But today, the problem is not with the BIM as a process, it's the tools that are a big letdown. I was just having a conversation with one of our users, and he very aptly quoted that the inflexibility of the BIM tools and the complexity which is thrown at architects because of these tools, inefficient tools still dominate the market for concept schematic design, which is where the design gets formulated. And this is not just my opinion, it's the opinion of the entire industry. And some of the largest architectural firms in the world have come together, written open letters this month and last month to the major player Autodesk, citing that they have had to struggle through making things work by having workarounds to use their products. 2 decades later, the tools still uses traditional technology to implement designs, and they've had to struggle by themselves by using multiple tools that again do not talk to each other to make things work. And Autodesk is one company that is pointed out, but they have actually not spent enough time or resources in innovating and figuring out how can we solve these problems which have been existing, and there's no clarity also on how the future unfolds. And interoperability has been a major cause of concern and still does exist. Again, the entire industry has come together in criticizing this aspect and how can they open up. And a very good thing happened just yesterday, that Autodesk joined the Open Design Alliance, and we will just see how time would turn out in this aspect. And on top of this, the licensing models or the subscription models have changed dramatically in the last 4 or 5 years, and architects really don't have any strong clarity of how they're going to go ahead about it, and there's a significant increase in cost to their business with literally minimal or no value add in terms of the tool set. So the reason why we feel that this is happening is because even the BIM tools which are developed were actually inspired a lot from mechanical engineering and not looked at from an architectural workflow perspective in first principles. And that's where we decided to build a tool which helps architects focus on the art of architecture, and the tool can help them do the rest of the things in as much convenient way as possible. So let me, rather than speak about it, go ahead and show you a very quick demo of how Snaptrude works. So we are a web-based tool, browser-first technology, works seamlessly across an iPad as well as any of your computer. All you would need is just a web browser like Chrome to work it out. For time constraints, I've uploaded a hand sketch taken out of my phone camera, like a pretty rough sketch. All I would do is just do a few clicks, and you would see that the drawing would be created out of this sketch. So Snaptrude not just digitizes the sketch, which is over there, which is primary ways in which architects actually conceptualize still by sketching things. It optimizes it to create the most plausible drawing. So if you see everything snapped to itself, it's a watertight drawing. Everything snapped to the nearest 100 mm. So you don't have to worry about dimensions and all other things. And like any other BIM tool, Snaptrude is automatically 3D while you generate a drawing out of it. Let me go ahead and start labeling things. Say this is my bedroom, my dining room, living room, balcony. So the moment I said it's a balcony, it automatically changes its dimensions or height to the nearest to 1 meter value. So Snaptrude is parametric by itself, so they can play around and iterate over designs in a very quick way. So the height is 3 meters, I can just change it to 5 meters, 4 meters, or bring it back to 3. So from here, Snaptrude, since it's a BIM tool, supports all 2D and 3D edits like any other design tool would. But now in terms of the automation, with one click, Snaptrude generates a BIM model out of this massing study which was there. So let me just hide the roofs, for example. So as you can see, it's a full-fledged parametric BIM model which is created, and everything is a BIM component. I can even go and study how the composition of this wall is. So it is made up of brick with plaster and paint on both the sides, and all of those information layer is added automatically to the drawing. Let me go to 2D, just add a few doors and windows, which is also pretty standard. Let me just add for variety a different kind of door over here. Yeah. So this is where you can actually complete your entire 2D drawing as well as 3D model. Coming to automation, Snaptrude with one click automatically interior designs that entire space. This is not just helpful for you to generate a presentation drawing, but also do spatial analysis. Is your bedroom even big enough to have a king size bed or not? Is there enough walking space if you're designing a commercial property? All of these insights can be provided right during the design stages for architects to iterate very quickly. And Snaptrude also generates a very well drafted drawing with one click. You don't have to spend days in just marking dimensions, which in 21st century and in 2020 sounds very lame, but still happens. Going back into the 3D, say if I want to create a 10-story building out of it, all I'm going to just do is press 10, and a 10-story building is literally created out of this. And if you remember, we just started right out of a little hand sketch, which is drawn on a napkin. So while the 3D model is being developed, the BIM information is added, Snaptrude automatically creates valuable, insightful data at one click. So on this areas tab, the entire built-up area and the carpet area of the entire design is developed, and it shows you how it is split across the entire model as well, how the built-up area and the carpet area is split. And it's all exportable to an Excel sheet, and you can even keep a tab of how your FAR is changing as well. And simultaneously, Snaptrude does generate a bill of quantities with one click, giving you the detail of how much RCC would go in, how much bricks, the scheduling of doors, windows, and furniture happens automatically while the design is moving. So real insightful data is made available right when you are designing. So coming back, so Snaptrude, as I showed you, has gone from a literally hand sketch to a detailed 3D model, but it also fits extremely well into the existing design ecosystem. So can be used directly from the time when a builder or an architect is doing feasibility analysis of a site, with data being available right at the onset of the design which you do, to even generating massing studies and presentation drawings for your clients. And Snaptrude talks to all the rendering tools out there in the market, so you can actually render out detailed models and beautiful models like this. And Snaptrude can also be useful if you want to detail out your design and generate detailed documentation part, and even Revit exports to BIM tools like Revit if you would want to do construction documentation and do service integration. And even in comparison to capabilities, not just the speed at which Snaptrude executes things and automates things, even in terms of the capabilities, Snaptrude stands right in a much better way compared to existing tools that dominate the industries. I've just taken 3 names over here, but the reflection would still be similar. So right now, Snaptrude is being used by users from US, Europe, Malaysia, Singapore, etc. And we see that over 1 million square feet gets modeled on Snaptrude every month. These are some of the designs which have been executed. So the main focus of Snaptrude is help architects focus on the art of architecture and change the way the broken workflow is impacting this entire process. So you can reach out to me at Altaf@Snaptrude or tweet to me at Altaf Ganihar. And you can get started using Snaptrude by just going to snaptrude.com. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Altaf. That's brilliant. And this is going to be free, Altaf, right? This trial that you're offering right now.
Yes, so people can get started and start using it for free.
Great. I'm going to now call upon Sriram Kuchimanchi of Smarter Dharma. And he's also going to be sharing a really exciting offer using this forum today. Sriram, all yours.
Hey, thank you, Gautam, and Altaf, great story. I mean, I personally feel we should look at using it too. All right, I'm going to share my screen. Okay, can everybody see this?
Yes.
Super. All right. My name is Sriram Kuchimanchi. I'm the founder of Smarter Dharma. And Gautam, thanks for introduction, and KP and the Shadow Inches team for giving me this opportunity. Like Gautam said, I'm really excited because we're using this platform to kind of launch and showcase this platform, SD+, what we believe is the world's first sustainable resource platform. And we believe we can deliver economic and environmental value through a data-driven approach for sustainability adoption. And Lexi from Greystar actually set us up nicely yesterday when she spoke about the importance of data in the approach of adoption of sustainability. Now, let's dive into it. What's the future we visualize, right? There is this utopian view, which is fabulous. And then there's this dystopian view, and clearly we're seeing where the signs are, right? We're seeing this happen. Let's wrap our head around some numbers. I just picked very, very few so that we can understand. This is just last year in the US, and the insurance industry is being rammed. And we're not even talking about the fires, right? This is just the floods. Europe, cities like Madrid are actually seeing nearly a month-long increase in the heat wave. And bear in mind, for every increase in a degree in the heat, you're looking at close to 4% increase in your HVAC costs. Coming to India, we have a goal and we are running toward building 25 million houses by 2030. And if we do that, we'll be needing small islands size of Sikkim and Bhutan to be able to throw all the waste we're generating. Now, here's the thing. I'm not here trying to convince all of you on climate change. I do believe all of us already believe that there's a man-made impact on the world. But here we are talking about PropTech. So let's talk about the real problem, right? Buildings. Again, this is a slide. Funnily, Lexi showed this yesterday. 33% of all the global GHG emissions are from buildings. Now, energy-wise, water-wise, material, the impact of buildings is tremendous, and these buildings are going to last for 50 years. So you can just, fathom the impact. Let me get to understanding that at a resource problem for a typical metro. Now in India, but in reality, we believe that this is very, very depictive of cities in the world, metros in the world, right? Energy, I mean, rising temperatures there, sheer lack of access to groundwater, and then doubling waste each year. This is having a huge financial impact and stifling, builders as well as tenants to be able to live sustainably. However, we believe that if we do design, there's an intervention at a design level with technology-driven adoption of sustainability, we believe that there's a huge untapped potential economically and environmentally to tap, and we're not realizing it. Close to $72 billion of, and it's a very conservative number, right? In just a few cities, we believe that savings is possible. Now, why are we not doing this? We're not able to do, and stopping us is because we do not have one central decision-making platform, which is comprehensive, right? Which is really driving us to be able to, the stakeholder is able to quickly make a decision. So that's where we come. And that's what we're excited to introduce, right? Our SRP, our Sustainable Resource Platform, SD+. So quickly, how does it work? We take your design artifacts, your CAD files, your Revit files, etc., marry that with your resource challenge at the local level, regulatory compliance requirements, and throw it to a decision-making engine and let it do its magic, right? Backed with a strong material database, it comes back and gives you an integrated set of solutions and partners with whom you can work with. So let me show how it works. Let me take a case study. Now, this is a 950,000 square feet residential community, and the platform threw very aggressive goals at us. The recommendation was we could achieve 90% self-sufficiency in water. You could achieve 100% self-sufficiency when it comes to energy in common areas, right? The intervention combination came up and gave these kind of value. The best part is the tenants are going to see 30% savings on a monthly basis on their operational expenses, and close to 30,000 trees would be saved over the next 10 years, and that's the kind of carbon mitigation possible. So let me show you this project on the platform. Let me go to the platform right away. So what I've done is I've actually logged into the platform and to the project. Now, Assets is property developers are a big and successful developers in South India. I've gotten their permission to showcase Canvas in Cove, which is what was using this. Right off the bat, you can see here, which is, this is our dashboard, our insights page where CXOs can make decisions. Now, here you can see energy goals, the goal which was set and where you are currently, your capex outlay and energy savings, as well as how does it look. Similarly on water, you can see your goal set, where are you current and what kind of value you're having. Now, all these goals and how you're performing in the local climatic conditions, based on that, our algorithm churns out and gives you your sustainability level. This is our own approach to measuring how well you are doing, and a holistic one. In this case, they're doing really well. They're at forest and level 4. Now, how does it happen? So it's based on a blend of interventions all put together. The platform threw out 242 solutions, of which number 10 was chosen, which has a fantastic ROI of 2 years. But you want to play with it. Here's the chart. Now we're excited to show our smart chart where you can play with it. You can set your own goals, and accordingly, the various interventions which will make sense to make this happen will be configured by the platform. And you could pick then whichever one makes sense to you. As you can see here, you can pick whichever one, it will give you the impact. Now, you want to see how these interventions are, right? Let's go to the details of the interventions, which is here. Again, I told you decision making is key. Right off the bat, again, we're constantly showing the financial impact and the resource impact. So in English, we're saying not just the unit saved, but also how many houses you can power per year, taking a national average. Now, this is a project focused on water, so I'll jump right into water. My personal favorite feature we have built is we are able to auto-generate your entire water flow diagram. Now, this is not a simple thing. It comes actually with all the solutions, the sizing of each of the solution, and not too far, we're going to actually showcase and pinpoint where each of the solution has to be deployed. Now, remember, we had a 90% self-sufficiency requirement. So a couple of unique solutions thrown in was the sewage water should be segregated, grey water should be naturally treated, and RO'd so that it becomes potable, and black water is using separately. And we use a different kind of an RO technology so that we reduce the wastage. Now, that plays into these various solutions. Now, here in water, we have demand optimization, source creation, and treatment approach. So I'll pick rooftop rainwater harvesting simply because, rainwater, everybody should harvest, any city in the world. The platform is able to come and calculate and say, hey, this is a rooftop area, these are some of the exclusions possible, and showcase some size of this kind. And bear in mind, it's recommending zero water recharge. Why? Because it's saying that we want to maximize reuse the water, so let's not recharge, as opposed to an Indian Green Building Council equivalent rating, which says 16.7% should be put for recharge. You could also create your own customized tank size now, and then have your own option created. Now, once you select your options, the next thing for you to do is to find the right partner to work with. Again, we're very excited because over years, we have built a strong database, a database filled with more than 1150 material, which are very sustainable, and more than 200 partners to work with whose sustainability value we have vetted. Here I'm going to show you for smart water meters we got. Abhilash from We Got spoke yesterday in the summit. The platform off the bat calculated and told you what is the financial outlay. It also tells you what's your monthly savings. It even tells you what's your per square feet cost increment. It gives you their contact information. You can reach out to them and get the latest quote. And this is a selected vendor as opposed to other vendors because we have vetted this. With all this information, one of the things we've understood is the marketing sales team many a times are stuck trying to reach out to the design team to get content information to be able to create their content. So how has the platform solved it? Now it is auto-generating content and information so that the marketing team is not dependent on the design team. It is a top-down approach. It shows your water goal. gives you a financial outlay and water saving. And you can now see what an average Joe builder would have done as opposed to what you have done, and you've reached your 90% savings. 79% savings. With this kind of content, we have created, let me go back to the thing. All right. With this kind of content, we worked with the marketing team, and our service was able to create the idea of carbon healing homes. And the sales team could see great success with this, and and we are happy to create a new concept. Now, another project quickly to talk about. This is a close to 640,000 square feet commercial place in downtown Bangalore. What excites me is before a brick was laid, our solutions came out to save them nearly $500,000 and enough carbon mitigation potential that over 10 years we could save 76,000 trees. And now, but that's not it, right? We have very, very bold goals for 2030 to mitigate 150 million tons, and we need all of you to work with so that we can really make a strong dent at meeting the global Paris Climate Accord commitments, which all of us have set. Now, why are we bullish? Because the market is showing a strong increase in green building requirements. On the right side, you can actually see the reasons are also becoming increasingly compelling for builders, progressive builders all around the world, and policy is also pushing them. These are some of our customers. We're happy to tell you that pretty much all of them have given us multiple projects. We've been working with them over years, showing you assets. We couldn't have done this without a stellar team. I quickly wanted to show you our team. Ifti is the technology head. He's been owning the product platform to be delivered. Jai is the head of engineering. Karthik runs our entire marketing. A stellar advisory group which has been helping us make this happen, because really we're building a data platform, right? And the big picture is we believe that today we're starting with residential, commercial. We can eventually do hospitality and really re-look at how sustainability adoption can be made easy, not just at businesses and organizations, also for individuals. So here's the impact we've had thus far. 31,000 tons of carbon is a small drop in the ocean, and we believe that we can not just meet 150 million, but completely smash that goal. Looking forward to working with all of you. Come join us on sdplus.io and let's make it happen. Thank you. And here are my coordinates if you want to talk to me further and get a demo, etc. Thanks.
Thank you, Sriram.